Good evening and welcome to A Taste of Aging, Sex Positivity Later in Life, a program offered by Sex Positive World. I am honored to be here. I am very grateful for this invitation, and I am delighted to be in the company of such expert practitioners in the arts of love. And I am so happy to be with all of you through this video while local events call for my presence. I am in Italy at the moment, which is my first matria, my first homeland. And for those of you who don't know me yet, I am Dr. Serena Gaia, also known as Serena Anderlini-D'Onofrio. I am a scholar, a writer, an erstwhile university professor, and I dedicate this time of my life to practice research and teaching in the arts of love. This is my age of wisdom. Welcome to this brief video where I will share from my experience and inspire you to invent your amorous life as the artwork of love. Whether you are female or male or anywhere in between, whether you are young or old or anywhere in between, I have good news for you. Here's the news. The happiest decade of your life begins now, as long as that's what you choose. How can I say that? Well, here's my answer. The sadness we associate with age reflects the sadness we associate with death, with the fear of death that pervades our culture. And where does that fear, where does that sadness come from, you might ask? Here's my answer. It comes from the focus on individuality that has characterized our culture, our Western culture, especially in the age of Pisces, a 2,000-year-long astrological era that's coming to an end. As we transition toward the new era, the Age of Aquarius, we know that the focus will be on systems, on ecosystems, on collaboration and symbiosis. As Gaia theory indicates, and as it anticipates scientifically in very clear ways. In that context, death, the end of the life of an individual entity will be a small instance of the vast recycling of each personal life into the wider whole of planetary life. So that approaching that moment, coming to that transition, will be a special time for each of us, a time for reflection and for gifting the world with the wisdom of one's experience of living one's life as the artwork of love. We can see that in this context, the happiest decade of your life begins every moment you decide that your experience makes you a better artist of love than the one you were before. One can say that each experience is a practice in the arts of love that gifts the person with more awareness. In fact, as artists, we all begin with early works where impulse and instinct often prevail. Then we get to the years of our full maturity when we can offer the world our most generous gifts. Finally, we get to that age where wisdom prevails, and then we can distill the essence of what really matters in our transmissions to the world. It's a great time to arrive to, if you're so fortunate, and practicing the art of love is good for one's health, so there you have it. We can all do this, I promise. And I encourage each and every one of you to start as early as you can so that you have a wider store of experience to draw from later on. Our experiences get written into our neurological systems, into our biomes, and when we metabolize them as the artwork of love, they transform us. They help us to evolve. In my case, the way I've transformed my amorous, my sensual, my affective, my sexual, and my intellectual life into a work of art is by writing about it. You will find out more about that a bit later when I open up some images for you. While I have your attention, I want to quickly dispel some myths that affect women in our age of wisdom, and in slightly different ways, also men. Recent cross-species studies have found out that in species that are intelligent, knowledgeable, and evolved, females live way beyond our fertile years. Such species include us humans, whales, bonobos, dolphins, and more. That's where the evolved wisdom of these species comes from. Wow, you might say. Yes, so in this context, you can see that there is no menopause. There is no minus. It's a plus pause that gives us time, that gives us women time to experience pure enjoyment, to store awareness from it and pass it on. When fertility is gone, there is pure sexual pleasure. Another myth I want to dispel is about love across the generations. It's very nurturing to connect amorously and sexually with people of a different age group. It provides windows on experiencing the world at different times in its evolution. It fertilizes our respective biomes with more vital energies. It gives younger people a window on the wisdom they can evolve if they live wisely from earlier on. It gives older people a chance to access the energizing moments of a younger age. I thank you for your attention for now. I will transition to the images in a moment where you'll get more information. It's been an honor to be with you. I wish you all the best in this event and everything else as well. And here we are in the context of a taste of aging, sex positivity later in life. And we remember now that the happiest decade of our lives begins now. The happiest decade of your life begins now, if that's what you want. And we can see a little bit more of how that can happen. This is the book I was alluding to before. It's a biographical narrative, also known as a memoir, where I narrate a certain segment of my life. And this book is now in its second edition. And the title, Eros, doesn't need any explanations, but the subtitle, The Wisdom of Love, is something I've added at the second edition with the intention of making it not only a biographical narrative, a memoir, but also an inspirational book. And so that then developed in this wonderful idea for last year's winter lockdown here in Italy to evolve a series of online events that used reading as a process of transformation. So we read different chapters and then we talked about the different contents and experiences that they contained. And from that, each person could really access their own experience and then evolve from that. So that was a wonderful experience of using this memoir as an inspirational book that really helped people get into the present and realize that the happiest decade of your life can indeed begin at this very moment, if that's what you choose. That was the title of the course also. And there is a possibility that in the future, a similar course may be offered also in English. And let's see what's next. Next is my invitation. If you're interested in what might be evolving around Eros, the wisdom of love, we have created a very, very well populated Facebook page where we post events and we keep people aware of what's evolving around that project. It's called the Eros Book Club, and you can find it on Facebook and you can join. Thank you. Here's another invitation, and here I want to go in a little bit of detail because it's so related to the theme of this presentation, of this event. Alchemies of Ecosexual Love is an experiential retreat which I've offered now for 5 years. It's 5 years. It is in its 5th edition. The dates to say this year are August 24th to the 28th, and it will take place in the vicinity of Rome, Italy. This has traditionally been a multicultural and at least bilingual retreat with people participating from different countries. And it really relates to age as this creative force. Why? Because it really addresses the situation of many people who have experienced love in many different ways and maybe have become disappointed from being on the scene of love and are a little intimidated from starting again, from clearing up and metabolizing all these experiences in a positive way. So the design of its different elements is really organized around leaving behind the fears that are often an obstacle to this courage, transforming these fears into love and into courage. And so the elements we use include Tao, the Tao, which really helps people take care of themselves and therefore overcome the fear of becoming ill with love. And then Tantra, which helps people experience the other as the temple of the divine and therefore appreciating a no with gratitude as an example of sincerity and therefore overcome the fear of rejection. And then there are the elements of amorous inclusiveness, which really comes from the practice of sex positive practice of polyamory and helps people see that love doesn't always happen between A who loves B and B who loves A, but love can expand to C and D and E and F and H and form a much, much wider circle that then creates more abundance of this energy, which feels welcome, which becomes denser and more abundant where it feels welcome. And then the final element is sexual fluidity, which helps people experience pleasure for what it is and not according to what their mind tells them that they should experience it as pleasure or not. So these are the 4 elements that form this alchemy and that really help people in this experience form amorous families and fill their tank with oxytocin, with the hormone of love and happiness, which is called oxytocin, and really becomes abundant in our biome when we work on our subtle bodies and on amorous touch. So this is my invitation to really participate if you are ready for this experience. Thank you. Another invitation I have for all of you is to consider ISTA. ISTA, the International School of Temple Arts, is an initiatory school in shamanism, sexuality, and spirituality that I am a graduate of and that I really appreciate and respect. And there's been conversations about creating special editions of the ISTA retreats, the ISTA trainings for people who are approaching their wisdom years, namely to really address some of these editions to people with more experience, people who are 50 or older, perhaps. So if you follow ISTA and you follow my sites, you will find out when and if this is going to happen. Thank you. And another invitation I have for you at this time is the invitation to join my newly founded Telegram channel. What is Gaia Science? Gaia was the ancient goddess of the earth. Gaia is also the name of the scientific theory, the epistemic scientific theory that tells us that we evolve by symbiosis, that we evolve by collaboration. So it's the theory that really carries us into the Age of Aquarius. And so Gaia Science is a science that is gay, that is joyful, that is cheerful, and that focuses on caring, on loving, and on healing. And we need a lot of those at this time in our world. And so if you're interested in that, please join the channel and all the information will be posted. Thank you. Finally, I want to say goodbye to you. I am Dr. Serena Gaia. This is my art name as a teacher in the arts of love. And my other name is Serena Anderlini-D'Onofrio. That's the name under which you find my author profile and my studies, my books in Amazon.com. Thank you. And these are other ways that you can follow and find me. My Gmail email address, my Italian phone number, where I'm present also on WhatsApp and Telegram, my two websites, ecosexlove.org, which is mainly for current offerings and events, my serenagaia.org website, which is a historical website where you find access to all my works, and then my YouTube channel. This is my author profile on Amazon IT and also on Amazon.com. And then my YouTube channel, which really has an abundance of contents and materials, and my Vimeo channel, which has the newest videos. Thank you. It's been an honor to be with you, and I wish you all the best in this event and in everything else as well. I encourage you to follow me and to remember the happiest decade of your life begins now, if that's what you want. Thank you.